Um, Secretary Tur, would you please start us off with roll call?
Senator Abdul. Senate Lead Benitez.
Kennesaw Senate Lead present.
Director Billings.
Director of External Affairs present.
Senator Bing. Vice President Bradford.
Vice President Bradford present.
President Brand.
President Brand present.
Senator Coakley.
Senator for the College of Engineering and Engineering Technology present.
Senator Coley.
Senator for the College of Community and Social Sciences present.
Senator Dixon. Senator Ganama. Director Hale.
Director of Internal Affairs present.
Treasurer Har.
Treasurer Hart, present.
Senator Ingrando. Senator Jackson.
Senator for College of Humanities and Social Sciences present.
Senator Jones.
Senator for American Minorities present.
Director Lopez.
Director of Academic Affairs present.
Senator McGinnis. Senator Martin.
Senator of Lovestock College present.
Senator Maurer.
Senator for the College of Science and Mathematics present.
Senator Mobley. Senator Profit.
Senator for Veteran Students present.
Senator Reyes.
Senator for First Year Students present.
Senator Rhodes.
Senator for the College of Arts present.
Senator Robinson.
Senator for Fraternity and Sorority Life present.
Director Snell.
Director of Receiver Operations present.
Senator Taylor.
Senator for the College of Computing and Software Engineering, present.
Senator Trantham. Senator Vance.
Senator for Registered Student Organizations present.
Senate Lead Veeder.
Marietta Senate Lead present.
Director Watkins.
Director of Communications present.
Senator Whitaker. Senator Whitmire.
Senator for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences present.
Senator Wright.
Senator for the Coast College of Business present.
Thank you. We'd like to look for a motion at this time to approve the 64th meeting minutes. Do we have a motion up on the floor? Senator Coley.
I move to approve the 64th meeting minutes.
That is in order. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Robinson. All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, this does pass. All right, we'd like to go ahead and move into officer reports, starting with Director Snell.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so since our last meeting, I was able to meet with Governance Committee. I know it took a while sorry about that. Since our last meeting, SGA meeting, I was able to meet with Governance Committee. I know it's been a while since we got formed. It took a very long time, but we did have our first meeting yesterday. We got a lot of stuff taken care of. We were able to come to some conclusions on certain things that's been going on in SGA. So with that being said, I do want y'all to be on the lookout for emails tonight. There will be emails coming out letting y'all know your current status in SGA as far as demerits go, as far as strikes go, and everything like that. That's all I have in the report.
Thank you. Director Hale.
Hey guys, so I've been doing a couple different things for KSU Miracle. Hopefully you guys saw in the group me that I had like a 4-page document of different fundraising ideas so you guys can hit your $50 minimum. Also, we do have the jars, so vote for which e-board member you want to get pied in the face. Whoever has the most money in their jar will get pied in the face. And then also you can see in the window our progress. Moving past that, some things that Internal Affairs is working on is a mental health week in February. We're going to have a guest speaker from To Write Love on Our Arms, which is a mental health, substance abuse organization that spreads awareness. Then we also, idea from Senate Lead Benitez, doing possibly a KSU pageant. And then an idea from Senator Profit was a KSU formal. And then the meeting dates for internal affairs, if any of you guys want to pop in, help with any of these things, are, I'm choking on air, I'm sorry. So tomorrow we will have an internal affairs meeting at 6:30 p.m. in the SGA office. And that's going to be internal affairs is every other week. And then we also have intern meetings every other week, which starts, well, it doesn't start next week, but it will be next week at 7 p.m. in Bagwell 127, so just right outside of the auditorium area of Bagwell on the bottom floor. End of report.
Thank you. Director Billings?
Hello. There we go. Hi guys. First and foremost, bouncing off of Miracle, we're going to be having percentage nights. We have contacts so far at Chick-fil-A, Culver's, and Nuke's. We've got a couple of other restaurants listed, but if you have a favorite that you think of, just shoot it to me and let me know. I mentioned it last meeting on the candy crawl that's being hosted by the city of Kennesaw. I do have the VKSU link if you're interested. It's October 30th. It is 3 to 6, which is earlier than I realized. I've reached out to see if there's any way we could go and show up later. Haven't heard back yet, but I'll let you guys know. If you are free from 3 to 6, by all means, go for the full time. Let me know. I can send you that link. External Affairs Committee, we're working on that safety panel that Chief Stevens wants to do, and we've come up with a name, Hoot for Help. Right now, our tentative dates that we're looking at and trying to pick from are November 11th and the 18th. That could change, but as of now, that's what we're looking at. And lastly, Ms. Nicole Phillips and I, we've solidified what we're doing for Creed Week as far as SGA goes, and we're doing PJs for Peace, which is a lock-in in the Marietta Student Center, which is going to be really cool. And also something we've come up with called Speed Debate instead of Speed Date, where you are seated at a table and you're faced with another student, and you have to talk about a certain topic without losing your cool. So that should be pretty awesome. I'll send out the dates in the group chat, so just look out for that. And other than that, end of report.
Thank you. And Director Lopez?
Hello, everyone. So we're still working on the academic affairs projects that I've discussed multiple times. You guys are probably tired of hearing about them, but there's no real updates that are worth repeating right now, except for the fact that, so today I did get to meet with Dean Long again at the Arnold Palmer's thing that he does every other Wednesday or something like that. It's always a pleasure meeting with him. He's such a great person. And pretty much what we talked about was with the grade updates, he's meeting with faculty and staff because he said that pretty much a common theme with every one of the Arnold Palmer thing is that most people are like, I'm not seeing my grades updated. So he's like, okay, so obviously there needs to be action taken. So he's meeting, he said, with some of his faculty and staff to talk about that. So I'm glad he's actually listening to like the things that we're talking about and complaining about and like, you know, chewing his ear about. So, and then I'll be meeting with Dr. Corso. She's the vice president of research to like touch bases with her, but also to talk about another, so something that came up in one of the first Arnold Palmer with the dean meetings is that, because he wants to make his college, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and I'll let them touch on it too, the actual senators. He wants to make it like, you know, one of the best colleges in the nation. So one of the things he's thinking about doing is starting a research fellowship during the summer that students from all over the U.S. can go to. A lot of colleges have research fellowships you can go to during the summer, and you don't have to be a student there. So he's talking about doing that. So I'm going to touch bases with Dr. Corso and see what she thinks about that, because she is the vice president of research and knows a little more about that than I do, or even he does. Tomorrow we have a UPCC meeting. I don't know, Sam, if you got the other nominee for it. Yeah? No? Okay, so if you are interested in being in that committee, it's the Committee for Curriculum and Policy. Please let us know. We need somebody like ASAP. It's tomorrow at 12:30 to 2, and it's in the Atrium building on Marietta campus. So if you're interested, please let me know. We really need somebody. And yeah. And then my committee will be meeting next Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. if you're interested in coming out. And also just a reminder to my committee as well. In the report.
Thank you. And Director Watkins.
Hey everybody, so on next Wednesday from 5 to 8, Communications Committee will be participating in the kickoff for kickoffers, one of those. So it'll be really cool. Y'all come out, and it's $5 to participate. You go around, you can try everyone's food. We're planning on winning because our food will be amazing, and then we'll get $100 to go straight into our donor drive, so that'll be amazing. The next day is Halloween. And Communications Committee is doing kind of a day-long tabling where students can just stop by and tap in and grab like candy and just go on about their business or hang out and talk to senators or whatever the case may be. The following week is Homelessness Awareness Week, and we're initiating this 24-hour day in the life challenge, but I'll let Senator Martin talk more on that. And then the first week of December, we're trying to do this event called Caked Up with SGA, in which we do pancakes and hot chocolate. For like students to stop by, get pancakes and hot chocolate, and then maybe donate to our donor drive, and then potentially make ornaments. So that's updates with Communications Committee. Specifically for communications, I've talked to eBoard about a video campaign, most likely going to center around drug awareness, because Kennesaw isn't, I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the drug triangle thing with the Metro Atlanta area, or like a little bit outside the Metro Atlanta area, but Kennesaw smack dab in the middle of it. So we're trying to work on drug awareness, and it'll probably take place in February because that ties into the Director Hale's event. I have a meeting with UTIS later this week. Name tags are finally in. I'll have them tomorrow. So I'll figure out a time where I can distribute them to y'all so you don't have to wait until the next meeting in 2 weeks. If you're in a costumes, please stay after the meeting so we can all take a picture. And Senalee Benitez and I are, I'm helping Senalee Benitez with an event that she wants to do frequently called Kennesaw Concerns, where students can come and we'll have like a panel, a little bit of a panel, and then just like hear their questions, comments, and concerns, but I'll let her elaborate on that. And lastly, I need some green money in my jar, so like y'all keep putting coins in there, and like I'm down for the pie if it's for the kids, so just need some dollar bills in there. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the Senate leads, starting with Senalee Benitez.
So I'm not going to really go into a lot of depth because Bailey and we kind of figure out what we're going to say before the meeting, and he's got most of the meat of our officer reports. But if you missed your scheduled one-on-one, please be sure to remember to reach back out to me so we can reschedule that so you don't get a strike. And then also Director Watkins talked about it, but the event that we're trying to kind of host or whatever, we really just want to have something where students can come and voice their concerns, like instead like out of our general body meeting. And so if you're kind of interested in that, and you're kind of interested in giving your constituents an actual place and time to go where they strictly can just let us hear it, like let us just, I don't know, hear whatever they have going on, reach out to me or Jess, and we will kind of get the ball rolling on that. Hopefully we can get one for this semester. Maybe November. Yeah, end of report.
Senalee Veeder.
So I hope all your campus engagements are going well. So these are things to remember for your campus engagements. Post a picture of yourself at the event in the SGA social group me. Create a flyer for your event and post the flyer in the SGA social group me, please. Thank you and happy Halloween. And if you need any help with any of this, reach out to me or Senate Lead Benitez, and end of report. Oh, yeah. Vacancy committee, meet after the meeting. End of report.
Thank you, Treasurer Har.
Treasurer Har, hey guys. Quick update. So I'm kicking chairs. The deadline for the supplemental request, the next one is December 15th. That makes the next meeting January 15th, 2020. Wow. That's crazy. There's been 3 new requests since we last talked. Senator Maurer for $200, her Halloween event that's happening next week, if I'm not mistaken. Senator Jackson, $95 for a CHSS event, and then Director Watkins for an SGA Awareness Day. And that totals up to be $330. I also got to meet with Secretary Tor to order our Scantrons, so we should have those very soon. And I also had the opportunity to meet Dean Long today as well for the first time, and another Faculty Senate member at the IDS Mixer. We actually briefly discussed the global learning fee and how that's been affected and how they plan to sustain that or change that, or literally just how it may look in the future potentially, whatever course that takes. So he gave me his contact information, and we are going to set up a meeting to discuss that further. But other than that, end of report.
Thank you, Secretary Tour.
Hi guys, happy early Halloween. I want to apologize for the delay with the Scantrons. There was originally some confusion on who we were going to order them through. We figured that out, and then it kind of took a little long for that money request to go through, but they are coming, as Treasurer Har said, so they'll be here really soon. I also just want to say that everyone's been doing like a really great job with your campus engagements this month. I've seen a lot of different event request forms, and you guys have been just really creative and had really awesome ideas. So yeah, end of report.
Thank you. Vice President Bradford.
Hey, oh, I can't see. Hey, everybody. So on October 15th, I went to the Policy and Procedures Committee meeting. Really what we touched on mostly on that meeting is moving the hazing policy from the Fraternity and Sorority Life website to the Policy and Procedures website, because for some reason it was only in one place. They're restructuring of their website. They're trying to restructure it, make it very visible, easy to find every policy you need that has anything to do with anything on campus. The next MLK Planning Committee meeting is going to be on Halloween. I'll be attending that with Senator Jones and Senator Whitaker. The President Athletic Oversight Committee, our next meeting is going to be on November 6th. So basically what Kennesaw is trying to do, we're trying to boost our attendance for our KSU basketball team. We're trying to rebrand it. That's why they have this big block party going on October 28th. We're just trying to get more student engagement for our student athletics. One note from the meeting that Sam and I had with President Wynn, I'm gonna let him talk mostly about that, is how maintenance is responding to student complaints. Typically, apparently, when maintenance would come to fix something, they would leave something else broken. And it was just like a never-ending cycle. So Leslie Nita Snowden, she's over them now, and she will be coming to the SGA meeting on November 20th to speak more in detail about how they're fixing how they used to be. So more information on that later in the report.
Thank you. For my report, starting off with what I talked about with President Witten, the majority of our meeting with her did end up going to the Global Learning Scholarship, because I know that's been a hot topic recently. And we got a lot of really good information on that, particularly that the removal of the scholarship, the Global Learning Scholarship, was actually a USG move more than a KSU move. And they are very well aware that KSU students are very interested in studying abroad. And in order to respond to that, even though the scholarship is being reduced and possibly eventually phased out, as people have been saying, they are looking into different ways to, instead of provide a scholarship, reduce the overall cost for study abroad. And because, as they were saying, having something that every student pays for that benefits 700 out of 38,000 students wasn't something that they were keen on, but they really wanted to keep a push on study abroads. So they already have alternative sources of funding identified, and they're moving around funding to reduce the overall cost of study abroad, and that's how they're going to be combating the scholarship disappearing. I'm also going to be talking to Miss Julie Peterson, who is in charge of all of that going on. So I'm going to be talking to her tomorrow more in depth about the exact details. So I'll have more for you guys at the next meeting. Or y'all can reach out to me if you have any other questions on that. In regards to committee members, Director Lopez already mentioned it for the UPCC, the Undergraduate Policy and Curriculum Committee. We are looking for one more member for the meeting tomorrow. We have lots of people who are interested, but unfortunately everybody has class at that time. But we would really love for one more member to be able to send their way for the meeting. Also, we have the Student Mandatory Fee Committee that we're looking for a member for if you're interested in being a part of that. And the SGA's Concerned Task Force that Ms. Brenda Stouffer brought to us at the last meeting. We're still looking for 2 more members for that. We already have 2 members, and we're just looking for the last couple 2. If y'all are interested in any of that and are looking for more details, please come talk to me, because we'd like to get those nailed down tonight if possible. And lastly, on a little bit of a longer note, brush my hair out of the way. I had a very lengthy meeting with Dean Sansevero yesterday, where we talked about SGA as a whole and our powers and everything to do with that. And coming out of that meeting, we have a much clearer idea of where we want to go with SGA. And one of the things that we really pushed on and are very keen to take advantage of is the legislative powers that SGA does have. And those have kind of taken a little bit of a back burner to our program planning and student engagement activities. But something that is very advantageous for us to take advantage of, as well as important in our role as student government, is taking advantage of the power to write legislation that, while it doesn't directly, we can't say this is going to happen now, we can have a very heavy influence because we are the voice of the students. And if the students would like something to happen, we can back them, we can get the numbers, we can get the funding, and then come to President Whitten and say, we would like for this to happen. And that's something that we can really focus on a little bit more in the future. And I know something that I've talked to a couple of you about already. So if you are interested and there are any other particular issues that you would like to even look into writing legislation on, please come and talk to me or any members of the e-board. We'd be happy to help you write that up, as well as give you an idea of the scope of SGA and everything that comes with it. And for that, also in regards to SGA and our future, we are going to be being a little bit more strict, because I know we had a little bit of concerns in terms of how we've been handling things. We had a couple people come to us with concerns, and we just like to address that and say we are going to be being stricter on sticking to everything and professionalism and the bylaws. And now that we have governance form, we have a very strong disciplinary branch behind us as well. So if you have any questions for that, please come up and ask me or DPO Snell. And end of report. And with that, we will go ahead and move into open forum. So are there any senators who have anything they'd like to bring up at this time? Senator Martin.
Hi, you guys. Senator of Wellstar College. I just have 2 really, really quick points. The first one, as mentioned by Director Watkins, is the Communications Committee is putting on the 24-hour backpack challenge / day in the life challenge. And the basis of that entire challenge is to get representatives. I'm looking for 1 more from SGA and then 2 or 3 more from outside organizations, but we're looking for like presidents, like people who have a face to participate in this. And basically every day, one of those 5 people would represent, and they would get to post on their social media, tagging the SGA page, that SGA can then repost their experience. And basically the idea behind that is just, you have 24 hours to live out of a backpack. So like you challenge yourself the night before to pack a bag, and whatever's in that book bag is what you live off of for the next 24 hours. So if you're interested in that, or you know someone who would be, have them reach out to me. It's absolutely optional, and we're also encouraging every student to participate. We just need certain people to highlight. My second point is going into November for my campus engagement. For most of y'all, I'm sure you don't know, November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and I hold that very, very close to my heart because I've lost my grandma to pancreatic cancer. This is an awesome opportunity, being the Senator of Wellstar, to raise awareness for such a cause. And with that, I have a couple ideas for events in the work, but the one that I'm leaning toward is called Dance for a Cure, in which it would be a Zumbathon. My mom, the daughter of my grandmother, obviously, is certified in giving out information on pancreatic cancer, and she's also a certified Zumba instructor, so I would love to work with her and bring her out to have that event. But if anyone is interested in helping, or if you have any other ideas that are not, typical cancer awareness events, because I know we're all tired of talking about cancer, but if you have any ideas or any suggestions, I'd really appreciate it, because I really want to make this a great event in honor of a loved one of this disease that is not as well known. Thank you, guys. End of report.
Thank you. Are there other senators who have a report this time? Senator Whitmire.
Howdy, y'all. So I've got a little bit of things to cover. I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. I've been working very closely with Owl Swap on the Workers' Rights Consortium question, and as I've been doing muckraking and helping them out with that, there have been some interesting things that have arisen with that and interesting details that we found out. The SGA History Project is chugging along. I'm going to be digging through the archives and seeing if I can have something substantial in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm going to try to be doing some more interviews with that. We have our National Humanities Month event happening on the 30th. I'm going to let Senator Jackson go into more detail about that. On the topic of SGA powers, I'm supposed to be meeting with Dr. Sanseviero on a facet of that at some point. I'm still waiting for an email back from him on that. We had our Dean's Advisory Board meeting, and we met with Dean Long. We talked about Senator Jackson's event. I know on Friday we'll be going in and presenting to the board, or the chairs of the different colleges, or different departments within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and getting their backing on this event. We had SABAC last week. Our money is long, but those meetings are longer. And interior design, we're just reaching the end of that polling, and I'll be reaching out to Dean Long about that in a few weeks.
All right. Thank you. Senator Vance.
Hello, everyone. So, as you probably know, I had my first campus engagement. It went well, so maybe 20 to 25 people showed up. And I was just basically telling people who I was, Senator for Registered Student Organizations, and giving out free cookies and juice. So you missed free cookies and juice if you didn't stop by. Well, I didn't really get too many complaints or concerns from my constituents. One of them was not having enough funding, but she kind of asked about fundraising ideas. So I think one of my campus engagements is going to be fundraising ideas, including marketing ideas. So I don't have a name for it or don't know when yet, but that's going to be one of my upcoming campus engagements. End of report.
Thank you. Vice President Bradford.
Vice President Bradford. Hey, I'm just standing up to remind you guys that you are required to have an officer report once a month. So within the 2 meetings that fall within each month, you need to have one. So if you didn't say anything last meeting, or if you didn't say anything just now, say something. You have to serve your constituents, and we have to know that you're doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Coley.
Just to keep it brief, just going off of what Senator Whitmire said about the Dean Advisory meeting, we have those at least once a month. With Dean Long, he is pretty great. I do recommend everyone meeting with your dean at some point. But just going off of what you said, to go a little bit more in depth, I know the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, I'm not really sure it would only pertain to people on eBoard, but they have already sent out a survey in their emails. They're really trying to find what really matters to students, which is really awesome what they were telling us about. They want the students to have like written feedback about how not only what's working and what's not working, but also what they would like to see to improve it. So if you are a student in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, or anyone in the audience is a part of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, definitely take a look at that, because they are really trying to work to really improve the things for us, as well as drive us forward to be the best social science program or department or college in the country by 2025. Yeah, may the force be with you. End of report.
Thank you. Senator Maurer.
So my campus event was supposed to be next week, but they would not let me use the area that I just picked, so we have to push that back. It will now be November 5th. We are going to do just science stuff. We're going to make slime and elephant's toothpaste. If you don't know what that is, it's just like that really foamy, puffy stuff. And we're going to make it in a jack-o'-lantern so it oozes. So it'll be pretty cool, so y'all come. We don't know a location yet because they just wouldn't let me do it in the atrium of, so that will come, information will come soon. With that, it'll still be midday, so like 12:30. So if you want to make slime, come out. Then I had a student advisory board meeting. We split them up between Group A and Group B. So Yara is in charge of Group A, I'm in charge of Group B. Unfortunately, Group B meeting, one person came. So that was kind of upsetting, but we did plan the event, so that was good. But that was upsetting. So yeah, but we're working on advising mainly, working on getting better advising and class list and stuff like that. And then I talked with my dean about my interim dean about the dean search. So hopefully I will be involved in the dean search for the College of Science and Mathematics, but I will keep y'all updated on that as well. End of report.
Thank you. Senator Coakley.
Senator Coakley. Cool. So a bit about my past couple weeks. I was invited to be on a committee that's going to be discussing essentially email communication in our college, and we had our first meeting last Friday. What we talked about was how we can communicate more effectively and more efficiently with students in the college, right? The biggest concern I brought up as being the representative for the students was the daily email, right? Faculty, I think, get the option to opt out of that, question mark. They do, we don't. That's wild. So I'm probably gonna have to reach out to some people about that. I met with the dean again on our student advisory board that we're trying to form up. He's very pleased with what we have so far, but he did mention that we're kind of vague on where our membership's gonna come from, so he'd like to see us be more specific on that. The director of student activities on Marietta, Drew Harville, he started hosting this breakfast for students on campus, essentially. And I went to that, it was kind of cool, free breakfast. Sam mentioned, or President Brand mentioned that SGA Concerns Committee thing. I'm gonna be a part of that. And campus engagement next week. Be there, be square, free donuts.
Thank you. Senator Jackson.
Okay, so just basing off of what Senator Whitmire said, we are having an event next Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 in the Social Science Building atrium. That's just going to be sort of a celebration of all the students and RSOs that are part of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. So we are still looking for RSOs and students to be involved. So if you are involved in any kind of RSO relating to the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, please talk to one of us because we want as many students to be involved as possible.
Thank you. Senator Reyes.
Good evening, everybody. This is kind of long, even though it's my first one. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the intern program since I'm a direct product of that program. And the last time I met with my intern group was on October 16, and we have decided to condense our project from instead of a three-pronged project to now just one initiative, and it's going to be to basically extend the library hours to 24/7, and that would be on the Kennesaw campus. And so we were working closely with Senator Coakley, and we're trying to get into contact with David Evans, who is the dean of all libraries of all on both campuses on both systems, and Kathy Rakesteiner, who's the executive assistant, and she basically will help us work out the logistics about how much money it would take to actually run the library, or if we could just keep it up to like 2 floors, so we don't have to have the whole library running. And today we did auto parmos with the dean, the fellow senators, and for next month we want to do, or I want to do an annual event. I want to see if I can try to do an annual event where it's my first Meet Your Senator event, and I want to work with Director Lopez, and we're gonna call it Honey Buns with Your Homeboy. And we're trying to see if it's like we can get it to be an annual event, so if every first-year senator, so that every first-year senator could have something to have an event already pre-planned as they come in. So every, for the next first-year senator, they could have, if it's a girl, it could be Honey Buns with Your Homegirl or something. So, and a report.
Thank you. Senator Ingrando.
Hey guys. So this past week, the three of us had a meeting with the accreditation board. It was mostly the three of us, the members of the board, as well as the student advisory board, which was nice because I'd never met with any of them before. We just bounced ideas off each other and was able to give feedback and what we thought of the Coles College overall. We landed on a few points for new projects, such as more freshman engagement, class info staying more relevant to encourage students to keep going to class, improvements to the BUSA course, if you guys know what that is or have heard about it, and some of the majors feel like they're underrepresented, so more representation for the majors. That's all.
Thank you. Senator Taylor.
How you guys doing? I have my campus engagement next week. Also doing donuts. So my dean has been out all of October. He's had a lot of personal issues. But I have been able to talk to a secretary, and we've talked briefly about how I want to increase campus engagement and also the career opportunities that are in my College of Software Engineering. We actually have IBM coming beginning of November for a workshop. So I want to increase the students going to that, because I've attended a couple of these career workshops, and just campus engagement has been kind of low. So I'm trying to figure out different ways to get students to come out to those and send a report.
Thank you. Senator Wright.
We have a meeting scheduled with our dean next week to talk about the issues that were brought up at that luncheon.
All right. Senator Dixon. I'm so sorry. Senator Abdul. I do apologize.
Hi guys. I met with the dean earlier this month to speak about, to introduce myself and to speak about adding concentration to majors. She was very receptive to it, and she was like, bring it up to the department chairs, and she's also going to bring it up to the department chairs. We also spoke about imitating honor Palmer with the dean, so we're going to do something like that. I also met with the marketing department chair about the same initiative, but tailoring it to marketing in its various pathways that it provides. So I currently have to write a proposal about creating a class, so that'll be fun.
Thank you. Senator Jones.
Senator for American Minorities. Okay, so first up in November 12th through November 15th, I have the diversity conference that I will be attending with Senator Whitaker. It's a really great opportunity for a senator for non-traditional students and senator for students with disabilities as well. But that's going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I will be going for 2 out of the 4 days to speak then, as well as I'm sitting on the MLK committee, or the MLK week committee meetings, and we need a student speaker for the Six Voices events. To speak, I've spoken with Director Lopez and also Senator Reyes briefly about speaking for that event, but if there's anybody in the crowd or anybody sitting here that would like to speak for that, please let me know. We're also doing an oratorical contest, so if you're interested and you don't want to do the Six Voices speech, you can submit your oratorical speech there and then have an opportunity to speak at the luncheon, which is a great opportunity. Also have dinner with the Chief Diversity Officer next week, so that will be really good. And I've been speaking with Senator Coakley as well about thinking up some different diversity initiatives to get women to be more attracted to the engineering program, so wish me luck on that one. Also, I went to Honor Prom with the deans as well. That's my dean, but I spoke with him about diversity initiatives within the college, and he actually had a lot of really good programs in place that he already said he was going to be working on. So he's doing some department diversity liaison members, so they will meet monthly within the program for every major to discuss what diversity initiatives in each major they need to be working on. And I've spoken with him about having a cultural competence class as a requirement for all of the majors within that college. I am personally trying to work on getting that as a gen ed course across the board, but that is going to have to be something that is discussed with USG, so also wish me luck on that one. He also said that USG is reimagining the gen ed courses, potentially taking it down, I think he said 42 to about 30. So that is also in the works. That has nothing to do with me, but that's there too. And then he said that he's thinking about having a separate diversity and inclusion inventory for courses so that people who can't have the cultural or who don't have the cultural competency class now can opt into going down into taking those courses without having it be a requirement. And then also I emailed the Sentinel about getting a correction on things because I was misquoted. So just wanted to update y'all on that as well because I didn't want y'all to think I was out here being crazy. But that's all from my report. So end of the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Senator Ganama?
Hello, guys. Senator for the Graduate College. Good. So last month I was able to meet with the executive board of the Graduate Student Association. You know, try to go over what they're doing and who I am, and that they actually have someone to help them with what they're doing. I was able to sit down at one of their meetings, their general body meetings, and talk with my constituent and hear their concerns. I'll also be helping them with their next general body meeting. That will be this October 25th, and then we're gonna have an HR discussion panel. So we've been working with career development on that. Because I was not yet able to meet with my dean, well, I've reached out to him and then, you know, presented myself. We were supposed to meet this week, but due to some inconveniences, we'll have to reschedule. But then, yeah, the meeting is supposed to be with the dean of the graduate college, along with the associate dean that is in charge of the GRA, that's the graduate research assistantship, and as well as the advisor for the graduate student association. So that will come soon, and I'll update you guys on that. But yeah, we were supposed to go over, you know, having a newsletter for graduate college students, as well as an advisory body meeting. Advisory board, yes, an advisory board for graduate college. So meanwhile, I'm working with their head of communications with the Graduate Student Association to be able to send a survey to students that they have on their newsletter and to kind of have what they have as concerns and, you know, different things that they want to reach out. Because obviously graduate students, there's just a fair amount of them that come to general body meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, end of report.
Thank you. Senator Robinson?
Senator for Fraternity and Sorority Life. Real quick, I just want to say that I had a meeting with the Chief Diversity Officer as well as with the Fraternity and Sorority Life Department. And basically, the idea of the event that I have coming up is having a cultural competency workshop, which is taught by Dr. Carrie Butler to all 4 councils. And the tentative date for that is November 19th, so I'm excited. But yeah, that is all. End of report.
Thank you. And Senator Rhodes.
Hello. How y'all doing? We pushed the breast cancer awareness event. Can y'all hear me? All right, push the breast cancer across the board. We pushed the breast cancer awareness event as a recent, I think, a few days ago. We were able to raise $40 that we will be giving to the funding for breast cancer awareness. That was one thing we did with my constituents this month. Another thing is you all attendance at next week. I am doing an event on the green. If you want to come out and express your painting skills, you don't have to be completely talented, but no, just freedom of expression. That's something I've been pushing as of late. Also, this has been a very productive month for not only my constituents but yours, as we've been pushing a lot of productive events. Just trying to broaden the horizon at this school. It's kind of hot under here, don't move. But other than that, been pushing a lot of charity events. November will be the month of giving back, so we'll be pushing a lot of events for future plans throughout my constituents. We're planning on doing can drives. We're thinking of other ideas for fundraising, not fundraising, but charity. So if anybody has any ideas they want to put in the chat, that'd be helpful. But I'll be pushing them through my organization. So, but with the help of you all.
Thank you. Senate Lead Beater. I'm sorry, Benitez.
Just quick reminder, Bailey and I forgot to say it, but officer reports will be due on Halloween. Please remember that if you don't turn in your officer report at all, or if you forget to mention your campus engagement in that, it will be a strike. End of report. Again.
Recommendation turn in on October 30th instead of the 31st. Senator Prophet.
Hey everybody. Just want to start off by saying that I'm happy to be here at my first full meeting, and everybody looks great, by the way, even if you dressed up or not. But moving forward, I got 2 things for you. One, the first thing that I'm going to push through with my constituents, the Senator for Veteran Students, by the way, is it's been brought to my attention several ideas, but the one I'm going to focus on right now is creating a veteran students tutoring center. So kind of like the athletics tutoring center. It's going to be something along those lines like that. So I'm going to get the ball rolling, and if anybody can help me out with that or wants to contribute at all, please let me know. Also, it's been brought to my attention that the veteran students, their engagement every month is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit more challenging for me. So what I'm doing this upcoming month for my first event is I'm going to have a speaker come in. He was a Army Ranger, and he's going to come in, and he's going to talk about his transition from the military into the civilian business world, the struggles that he had coming from military to business, and what benefited him being prior military. So that's what I'm going to do for my engagement events, is try to keep it educational and subjects like that. And then lastly, it was mentioned briefly, but I am wanting to get the ball rolling on the first Kennesaw State formal ball. And I'll leave it at that. But if anybody wants to be involved in creating a big dance that's going to have student engagement on a level never seen before at the school, come talk to me and we can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers at this time? All right. Seeing none, we will go ahead and move into new business, starting off with the Senator Training PowerPoint with Director Hale.
Hey guys, so you may have seen the email or the GroupMe message, but we do have a feedback form. So if any of you guys are having any sort of issues with just like SGA procedures, anything like that, go ahead and send it into that form. Also, I'm sorry, I know no one probably take me seriously with antlers right now. But we're going to go ahead and go through this Senator Training PowerPoint real quick. So Senator Training PowerPoint is something I did as a senator back in the spring. So this is just an overview of y'all's positions and everything. just to explain that feedback form. So we've received some feedback that y'all wanted some more training, more development, everything like that. So you guys get what you asked for. So here we go. Here, go ahead. So just introductions to SGA. We have our mission statement. So our jobs is primarily to represent, enhance student success, act as a liaison, foster environment and campus engagement, and advocate for the students. Okay. You can go ahead and hit the next one. I don't know why it's empty. Okay. Well, I will explain what this image actually has in it because it's not working. Obviously, president is on top. So I'm just going to read out some eBoard job descriptions real quick for y'all. So the president of SGA's primary responsibilities include serving as a spokesperson and delegate for SGA at meetings with administration and at external committees, nominating candidates to be SGA members along with appointing students to committees and chairing meetings. Obviously, under president is vice president. So vice president of SGA's primary responsibilities are to assign members to internal committees along with oversee all internal committees and their directors. Also serve on external committees with the president, fulfill the role of president when the president is unavailable, assist the president with his or her duties, and ensure completion of SGA's mission and goals. Moving down, we have 4 empty boxes, which is supposed to have Senate leads, secretary, treasurer, and directors. So here, let me scroll down real quick, sorry. Okay, so Senate leads of SGA's primary responsibilities are overseeing all duties of senators, provide orientation and training for all new senators, and plan all SGA retreats. Moving on to the secretary's primary responsibilities are to serve as the chief room reservationist, set agendas for meetings, keep records and minutes of meetings, and serve as the office manager. The treasurer of SGA's primary responsibilities are to keep record of, regularly report, and authorize all SGA expenditures, serve as a liaison between SGA and SABAC, and manage SGA's budget. Moving on to all the director positions, so I'm so sorry, guys. Director of Academic Affairs of SGA, primary responsibilities are to chair the Academic Affairs Committee, serve on external committees such as UPCC and PPC, and execute Fuel for Midterms, Fuel for Finals. Academic Affairs core topics are curriculum and academia within KSU. Moving on to the Director of Communications. Director of Communications' primary responsibilities are to chair the Communications Committee, coordinate, manage, and maintain all SGA public relations and marketing, including social media, web, and print materials, and serve as a liaison between SGA and UITS, along with preventing and fixing technical problems with SGA. Communications Committee's core topics are marketing and technology. I swear this is the longest slide, I'm sorry guys. Director of External Affairs of SGA's primary responsibilities are to chair the External Affairs Committee, update SGA on any local, state, federal work and legislation, and serve as a liaison between SGA and the Office of Community Engagement, Department of Alumni Affairs, and VP for External Affairs. External Affairs core topics are community engagement and political climate awareness. Director of Internal Affairs of SGA, primary responsibilities are to chair the Internal Affairs Committee, act as a liaison between SGA and representatives within the Division of Student Affairs, and support registered student organizations. That includes SGA. Internal Affairs core topics are enhancing student experience and managing departmental relations. And then finally, Director of Procedural Operations of SGA's primary responsibilities are to chair Governance Committee, serve as the parliamentarian of meetings, and maintain the Constitution and bylaws of SGA. Governance's core topics are enforcing procedures and maintenance of said procedures. And then obviously the bottom square is the Senate. So dress code, thankfully we haven't had any real issues with dress code going on with the Senate. I am loving all the fashion and everything. So if you guys have any particular questions, I will be dropping the Senator Handbook as well as this PowerPoint, just for reference if you question whether or not your shoes need to match your belt or anything like that. Okay, so going over General Assembly agenda real quick. So we all have a couple meetings under our belt, thankfully. So we have the call to order, we have roll call, which is simply roll call, approval or correction of the previous meeting minutes, which requires a motion, as you guys know, and then officer reports. Officer reports start off with guest speakers, then we move on to our directors, our treasurer, our secretary, vice president, and president. And that's just all summarizing what we plan to do and what we have done within the past 2 weeks. Then we have open forum. Open forum revolves around SGA. It's the Senate's time to give their officer reports, say anything related to SGA. Unfinished and old business, that's anything that was tabled from the previous meeting. New business typically consists of swear-ins, presentations like this, and so forth. And then announcements is everything related to the community. So if you're in another registered student organization and you guys have an event coming up, if the audience has anything they would like to announce, everything like that goes under announcements. And then we have adjournment. I don't know why my smart art isn't working and it bothers me. Okay. So again, I'll post this PowerPoint in a working format into the SGA chat. However, just brief overview of Robert's rules. First, you obtain the floor, aka you get the chair's attention. You stand up, you state your name, state your motion. I move to adjourn the meeting, I move to do this, I move to do that. You wait for a second. A second isn't somebody saying that they agree with you, it's simply saying that they agree that the topic should be discussed. And then we moved into voting or debate. Introduction into the Senate position, particularly requirements and responsibilities. You're required to attend all general session meetings. You're required to attend all general session meetings and mandatory events. You must notify the secretary at least 24 hours in advance, or you will get a strike. Work in school is not excusable. So if you have a class or you happen to schedule work on a Wednesday night when you know we're going to have a meeting, sadly that is unexcusable. If you have 3 absences, that will result in removal, and 2 tardies does equal 1 absence. So also moving forward, depending on if you are a commission senator or a college senator, you must meet with your dean or appropriate administration at least once a month. Now, if you don't have a dean or appropriate administration, you can work with your Senate lead on that. You also have to attend/create a campus engagement each month. All of you guys are killing it on the campus engagements. You guys are coming up with like super creative events. I just went to the Kohl's one and we were making little stress balls and it was great. How to reserve an event space. So all you really have to do is go to that website, so reservations.kennesaw.edu. Under that website, you can narrow down things to specific buildings, specific campuses, everything like that. Find a space, make sure you click on it and see it's actually open, and find 2 spaces preferably. Then go ahead and fill out that event request form, and then Emma will go ahead and get that room reserved. Hopefully no craziness happens, but sadly the reservations website does get a little finicky. You also just go through OwlLife if you need to request any money. So those are just 2 forms on OwlLife. They're pretty simple, and if you need anyone to walk you through them, you have both the Senate leads and I to help you with that. You also have to serve 1 office hour per week. I know we kind of soon have Thanksgiving coming up. So that's only when classes are in session. Since classes are not in session during Thanksgiving week, you don't have to do office hours during Thanksgiving week. Office hours are supposed to be served Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You also have to attend a one-on-one with your Senate lead each month. I can't remember, it's a demerit or a strike if you don't do a one-on-one. Is it a strike? It's a strike. Okay. And then you also have to serve on one standing committee. We talked about the committees earlier when I was going over the directors, but we have academic affairs, internal, external, communications, and governance. And then lastly, you have to complete an officer at the end of each month. Again, try to get that done on the 30th so you don't have to be writing it on Halloween. Okay, I think I understand the issue. I think this is an older version of the PowerPoint. Either way, the other version that I'm going to post will have 2 examples, but this is, I think, my first officer report. So really just make sure you have your title, make sure you have the month, make sure you have your name, say what you did this month, say what you want to do next month, make sure you include that you've done a campus engagement, you've attended your one-on-ones, and done all your responsibilities and everything. And penalty system, I will hand off to President Bradford.
Vice President Bradford.
Vice President Bradford, whoops, sorry.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? So the demerit system. So we're gonna go over the demerits and strikes real quick. If any of these things sound familiar, like you've done one of them, expect an email from DPO Snell later tonight. So demerits may be issued for the following, including but not limited to your second dress code. Can y'all hear me? Hello? Yeah. All right. Your second dress code violation, arriving tardy to a general session meeting, counts as 1.5 demerits. Missing 1 or more related meetings, missing 1 week of office hours, missing an officer report, missing a campus engagement event, missing a one-on-one without a valid excuse, and that counts as 2 demerits. Upon receiving a demerit, the defendant must be emailed with notification with specific reasons as to why and a running tally as to how many demerits that you have. 3 demerits will convert into a strike. Make sense to everybody? Cool. Strike system. Certain offenses will lead straight to strikes. Example, unexcused absences or 2 unexcused tardies from a general body meeting. Strike 1, you will receive a written notice. You must reply to the notice within 48 hours. You will be moved into strike 2 if you do not have a proper response. Strike 2, a contract will be formed between the senator in question, the Senate leads, and a DPO. You will be moved to strike 3 if no proper response or contract terms are agreed upon. Strike 3, impeachment proceedings will proceed. Impeachment. Impeachable offenses include but are not limited to failure to complete 8 office hours in a given semester. That should not be possible. Any SGA officer caught falsifying their office hours. Failure to attend 1 mandatory event or meetings with an appropriate persons identified under your job duties. The DPO will send the officer in question a letter by email. The letter shall outline the subsequent impeachment process and charges of impeachment. And that is all.
Okay, this microphone doesn't really work, but do you guys have any questions on this PowerPoint or comments on the PowerPoint, like things we should add?
Center for First Year Students. So for this certain slide, right, it says failure to attend 1 mandatory event or meetings with appropriate persons identified. Can you explain a little bit more? So like if that's like a general body meeting, or what do you mean by that? And if how it's like immediately impeachable.
Okay, so I will post, again, I keep saying this. This is, for some reason, the version that was updated in March, not the version that was checked over this morning. So let me see. You're questioning the failure to attend 1 event or meetings with appropriate persons identified under job duties. That would actually be a strike. That would not be impeachment. So impeachable offenses are caught falsifying office hours, caught falsifying excuses for events. So if you faked sick and somehow someone figures out about that, that would be grounds for impeachment. And then also just not doing your office hours at all. Senator Taylor?
To kind of what you just said, you said it was a strike if you don't attend an event, but on the other side, I saw that it was like a demerit. I guess, can you clarify that?
On the other side, okay. Mandatory events a strike.
Just a point of information. I believe what this slide is referring to is one mandatory event, not necessarily a general body event. When it says meeting with an identified person, that would be if you had a meeting with your dean set up and you decided to skip, that would be grounds for impeachment.
Wait, I got it. 1 second.
Shout out to Treasurer Har.
Okay, we're going to read this out real quick because the PowerPoint was screwy. Demerits may be issued for the following, including but not limited to: second dress code violations, arriving tardy for a general session meeting, missing one or more related meetings such as commission meetings, committee meetings, tabling, missing 1 week of office hours. Strikes may include missing a general session, failing to submit an officer report, failing to schedule a monthly one-on-one, failing to appear for a scheduled monthly one-on-one, failing to attend a mandatory event without approved excuse, failing to schedule a meeting with an administrator, failing to host one campus engagement event each month. That's page 20 of the bylaws for y'all's reference, just FYI.
Also,
and impeachment is caught falsifying hours and caught falsifying excuses.
Also, yeah, if you read it, it says included but not limited to. So there are special ways you can figure out how to get strikes and demerits. Don't figure out special ways to get strikes and demerits, because we will give them to you.
Yeah, underlining the included but not limited to portions of everything.
Okay, I realize this is a not up-to-date version maybe, but one of the slides said that it was a requirement to meet with your dean twice a semester. So we've also been told once. Something else said once a month. Like, what is the updated requirement?
It's twice a semester, minimum. That's like a minimum. That's bare minimum. You don't want to be minimum.
Also, if you have any questions on specifics of these kinds of things, please absolutely go to the bylaws for reference, because the bylaws are posted on the website and are available for all of y'all to look over. They were just updated this past semester, so yes.
Yes, you are right. Meet twice a semester with the dean of their college or other appropriate administrators within their college. Okay.
I was looking actually at the bylaws this morning with an intern actually, and it says that commission senators, it doesn't have the requirement to meet with, I guess, the person who would serve as the dean for those positions. So that's just something, I guess, to throw out there. Like, the requirement is not there to meet twice with someone per semester for commission senators in the bylaws. So that's just to let y'all know to maybe update that.
In commissions, under commission senators, 6.2.2.7 must attend appropriate meetings with meetings and organizations that fall under that constituency. And then must represent their commissions at meetings with all administration. So it's kind of an off version.
So that's the,
yeah.
I'm sorry, that's the point that makes the, okay. I was just saying for clarification, like that might be something to like edit just because it's not there.
No, I got you. I sat as a commission senator last year, so I do understand it's a little different since you don't have a dean, but I was sitting as the senator of student athletics, so I met with the athletic director. So you'll probably meet with the chief diversity officer. So you can have an idea of who your quote unquote dean or person to meet with is, and if you don't have an idea of that, you can meet with one of your lovely Senate leads, and they can help you find that person or people.
So yeah.
Anything else? All right, I'll drop after the meeting the updated PowerPoint and the handbook, the updated Sender handbook.
Thank you. And with that, we'll go and move on to the next order of business, which is the Career Essentials Series Resume Edition with Director Hale and Senator Whitmire. Just for y'all's information, we had some requests for some professional development for the Senate, and so this is in response to that. We're trying to give you all a little bit of training and reference in not just SGA related matters, but also professional and career-based training. So.
All right, like President Brand said, we had a couple questions about being able to have more career development within SGA. So we put together, or primarily Senator Whitmire put together, a lovely career essential PowerPoint. He does work for career planning and development, and I have worked in HR for a little while now, just to ethos, pathos, logos. Okay, go ahead.
So, as Director Hale mentioned, I do work for the Department of Career Planning and Development, and if you've been with me in the SGA office, if you mention the word resume, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm reading a book or doing work or napping on the couch, you say resume, my head pops up and I'm like, oh, hey, I can help you with that. So I know I've helped 2 directors with it. I've helped some senators, I've helped some interns with their resumes, and Director Hale shot out this idea to go over this PowerPoint. So just without further ado, here we are. So the Department of Career Planning and Development, it's located in Kennesaw.
Speak up a little.
Sorry, am I being a little bit quiet? My bad. So the Department of Career Planning and Development, it's located at Kennesaw Hall. It's room 2617. Just formal directions, you go past financial aid up the spiral staircase. It's across from counseling and psychological services. Our phone number is up there, and so you can call that number and schedule appointments with career advisors, and SCAs will schedule that appointment, add any special notes, and basically those career advisors will give you career advice, get you in contact with some leads, and give you resume and cover letter help. And so we also have walk-in appointments every Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And so SCAs, of which I am one, if you walk in at any time, we're going to give you in-depth resume and cover letter review. If you've worked with me helping your resume off the clock, essentially what I'm doing is what we do as well in our office. So we give similar advice to career advisors, and like I said, you can come in at any time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So handshake, I know that RAs, for example, have been going through the process of submitting and doing their applications, and so we've been doing some help with that, and so they have to submit their resumes through Handshake, and that's the process they have to go through to do their applications. And so basically what Handshake is, it's a resume, and students submit their resumes and cover letters through Handshake, and SCAs within the Department of Career Planning and Development review them. Review takes around 1 to 2 business days. So as the office, I'm not joking around, gets hundreds of resumes and cover letters every day. And so we have to review each of those resumes each day. So if you're wondering why your thing isn't being approved immediately, that's why. And so even more stream in, like when we have career events like job fairs, et cetera. When applying for jobs, with this in mind, whose applications are closing soon, especially with RA, the resident application, or the resident assistant, I know they extended that, but that was supposed to be due on Monday, so highly recommend submitting a resume. If you're submitting a brand new one that has to be reviewed, that you go through the process of submitting it sooner rather than later, and essentially model it after your LinkedIn. So you actually have a Handshake profile that you can use, and so you just put your profile photo, you put down your experience, et cetera, et cetera. It'll basically be like your LinkedIn. So basic resume etiquette. If a resume violates our rubric, it will be disapproved. I know a lot of students have issues with that, so I'm just saying right now, here are some common things, and here are some common issues, and here are some ways to fix them. So if you're a new student, like a freshman, this is a common thing that we see, that KSU education isn't listed out. So you need to include your degree and your graduation date. So a lot of people put their high school and nothing else, and we can't approve it based on that. And so also make sure to write out the full name of your degree. A lot of people will put down major or bachelor's, etc. Some of we used to not be able to do abbreviations. That's okay in some place, but it's highly recommended that you actually write it down. So as an example, I wrote down Bachelor of Science in Biology, Bachelor of Arts in History. That's the correct way to write it out. No bachelor's, no major. That's the way you write it. No personal pronouns, so we can't approve that either. So when listening at your work experience or education history, the use of I, me, y, or we, us, etc., we can't do that. Don't do it. So when writing descriptions of your past work experience, again, write that in the correct tense. So if you have a past position, you're gonna write it in past tense. If you have a current position that say like you put your date, present, whatever, you have to write it in present tense. So, and list all items in order of most, say you're doing a job at that very point in time, and the last thing that you had been doing. So no pictures or demographic information. The reason we do that is to prevent it's for employers to prevent any discrimination issues that might arise during hiring. So just your information and that's it. So make sure to list your contact information. That happens occasionally, but yeah, at the top of your resume, you want to list that. And don't list your high school experience. You're in college. Resume or employers don't care about your high school experience. If you're a sophomore, cut it. So resume formatting. So resume should not go over 2 pages. It's highly recommended that you fit it into one. It's easier for employers to review that information if you keep all that information compact and you convey it in a simple but effective manner. You're discouraged from using templates. Companies use scanning software. If they'll essentially like look and see if there's a particular term that you're using in your resume, and they'll see that and they'll flag it and essentially be like, okay, this guy might be good going forward. And so name and contact information at the top, you just want to put that there. Highly recommend that you put education next, and then work experience, and then any extracurriculars, honors, etc., published stuff, yeah. Generally, you don't need a skills section. A lot of that information is going to be conveyed through your work experience. So employers are good at that. Again, going back to the use of scanning software, they'll see certain terms. And so say you worked at Kroger as a courtesy clerk, or you worked as a server. They'll be able to infer that you have customer service experience. And so highly recommend that you find another way to fill up a page. So SGA people as well, this is just for y'all. I know when I was helping some directors and senators out that they listed their SGA experience as an actual work experience position. I know we do a lot of work here, and it really does feel like a full-time job sometimes. But employers, they typically tend to view that information as being actual extracurricular work. And so if you can find a way to detail what duties you had and what you got done, etc., good, but again, refer back to that we really, really highly encourage that it be one page. And so clearly articulate what your duties were in your job. When you do that, again, employers will be able to clearly infer what your skills are. So cover letter etiquette, I'll just keep this brief. Make sure to list your contact information. Don't have it go over a page. Dear hiring manager, if you have the actual name of the person who is doing the hiring, and to whom it may concern if you don't. 3 paragraphs generally, and use it to convey your personality, any particular skills, and basically why you believe that you are the best fit for a position. So typically what I do is to convey my personality and what skills I have, I tell a story about my customer service experience, as well as like going into more detail about like what my studies are in the first paragraph, story in the second, and then wrapping it up as like a little thesis statement or a concluding statement at the third. And then goes without saying, but no grammatical or spelling errors. Looks bad. Any questions?
Senator Reyes?
Senator Reyes, so you said that in the skill section to not generally include a skill section, but I have a question. If like you speak a different language, or if you know like American Sign Language, for example, would you advise us to have a skill section just for that right there, or?
That was something that was included in the first draft, I believe, of the PowerPoint presentation. But I did want to note that as well. Sorry, I forgot. But yes, if you have a particular skill that's not shown in your work experience, say that you know how to code Java, or you know how to code, or know how have experience with Java, or you have a sign language, or you know how to speak a particular language that would be beneficial to a position that you're applying for, that's something that would be listed on there as well. Sorry about that. Any
Kind
other
of
questions?
building off of that, just a small amount. So skills sections, for instance, if you were a manager at Wendy's and you did this and you did that, don't put skills, leadership, amiability, like those kind of things. But if you know how to speak a different language, again, if you can code, skills and proficiency sections would be good. Senator Coakley.
Senator Coakley, just a point of information. Senator Coakley, yeah. Senator Coakley, just a point of information. For those who I don't know care about it, the Marietta Career Services office is on the first floor, right? So you see the Chick-fil-A.
It's in the student center,
Yeah.
and it'll be near the counseling and psychological services, as well as the Veteran
yeah.
Affairs office as well.
Yeah.
So you go down the spiral staircase there as well, and it'll be there.
Thank you for including that.
Yeah. My apologies, Senator Coakley.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay, so if any of you guys need any sort of personal help, I will offer my personal help with your handshake and LinkedIn, or resume or cover letter or whatever you need. You know where to find me. I'm almost always in the office, preferably with a donation to the donor drive, but you know. Seeing that we don't have any other discussion, then
All right. And thank you so much to both of you for putting that together for all of us. And hopefully this is going to be something that we continue to do in, like it's mentioned, a series. So if you all have anything in particular that you would like to know more about in professionalism, in careers, please let us know, and we will open the doors to that. All right, and with that, we will go ahead and move on to announcements. If there's anything non-SGA related that senators or the audience would like to bring up. Ron.
So just a reminder for those of you who may not be aware that tomorrow is Owls Arrive Alive on the campus green here on the Kennesaw campus. It's from like noon to 1. It is a realistic incident. So it will be a car accident from a distracted driver, and so there will be a lot of blue lights, sirens, fire, police, ambulance. There will be a helicopter landing on the campus green at noon tomorrow, around noon. So if any help that y'all can have, like getting people to understand that this is a reenactment, it's not happening live, it's a reenactment, that would be helpful, because we don't want a lot of panic. We want a lot of education. And so anything that you can do with that, I mean, I can just imagine wildfire is going to go like crazy with everybody thinking that it is like something happening. It's an event. Y'all come out. The other thing, Sam didn't mention it, and I'll just let y'all know, because I don't know who knows, but Dr. Sansevero has announced his departure from Kennesaw State University. And so for 16 years, he has been someone who has been very instrumental to student affairs, to student government, and to a lot of other leadership positions across the university, including housing residence life. He was the first director of that area here on campus. So it would be great, or I would like to advise the student government to think about what that looks like from you all to him. Just a word of thanks, a thank you note, a card, maybe more, I don't know. Just because it would be, I think it would be meaningful from you all to him for his guidance and leadership for the last 16 years. So
I will also be reaching out to him to see if he can come to our last meeting that we have before he departs over Thanksgiving break so that we can properly thank him in person. With that, are there any other announcements? Senator Coley?
Hello, everyone. Senator for Humanities and Social Sciences. So, as you all know, voting is really important. I've brought it up for multiple weeks now. Election day is November 5th. If there's anyone in the room that is actually registered to vote in Cobb County or Kennesaw, be mindful that there is still elections going on every single year. Election day is an actual holiday. That's a thing. So it is November 5th. If you are curious on who's running and who's on the ballot for Kennesaw, come see me. I have all the information for you. If you are not sure where you are registered or if you're registered, come see me as well because I would like to get you registered to vote because it's really important. So you can see myself as well as Director Lopez as well as Senator Reyes. We will be doing voter registration booths as well as voter information booths. It will be in the Rotunda, I believe, on next Monday from 11 to 2, as well as another event on Election Day, which is November 5th from 11 to 2 as well. Just letting students know about different voting, or different people running for Kennesaw, the Kennesaw City Council, Kennesaw Mayor, as well as other Cobb elections. If you guys heard me last week, we were trying to do a trip to go see the Jimmy Carter Museum and Library. If you're really sad that you missed it, don't be too sad because we actually had to reschedule it. So it will actually be November 15th. It'll be November 15th from 9 a.m. to 1. If you're interested, come and see me after the meeting and I can try to get you signed up for it. It is free of charge and it's really awesome. You get to go see some documents from the Carter presidency as well as different things throughout that time period, as well as a mock oval office or a model oval office. It's really cool. It's like to scale. It's really awesome. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Senator Martin?
Okay, I have a couple. First thing, the last meeting we had was 2 days prior to homecoming, and I haven't got to exercise my bragging rights yet. I'm the 2019 homecoming queen, and JJ was crown duchess. My second thing is, going back to Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, next month there is a 5K in Atlanta. My mom and I volunteer every year, and if you guys would like to join us and come volunteer, I'd really appreciate that. Last thing, 0 and 5, my RSO on campus. We are doing a Build-A-Kit event. Everything's getting donated to Live Safe. Admission is one donation of a big list of items. I can give that to y'all if y'all are interested in coming tomorrow, but we're literally just putting together kits and donating to Live Safe. So if you are available and willing, please come out.
Thank you. Senator Ganama?
Thank you. Okay, so I know we talked about KSU having a pageant. I just wanted to say that the International Student Association has a pageant happening tomorrow. It's called Mr. KSU International. It will be in the Marietta Dance Theater, and the doors open at 7. Also, the African Student Association has an event they call Taste of Africa that will be happening November 1st in these UV rooms from 6. Yes, and finally, I'm the president of the Model African Union, and this year KSU is hosting the Southwest Regional Conference. So if anyone is interested into participating or actually helping out, just come see me. That's it.
Thank you. Senator Vance?
Hey, so I am the Director of Public Relations for the Greek Programming Board, and this Friday we are having Trick or Treat with KSU. It was previously Trick or Treat with the Greeks, but now we've opened it to all of the RSOs on campus. So if you're a part of an RSO and you want to get a bag of candy and a game for some kids to play with, just DM me on GroupMe or email me or let me know, and I'll give you more details. But literally, all you need is like a bag of candy and activity for kids. Some people are doing like coloring pages. Other people are doing pie in the face. So it can be like literally something so simple. But we just need people there because there are going to be a lot of kids that want candy and they're going to be in costumes. So if you want to participate, just let me know. It's for the kids, so for the kids.
All right. Senator Wright?
My sorority Kappa Delta is selling tickets to be entered into a opportunity drawing for free Chick-fil-A for a year. It's essentially 52 free meal card tickets, things. But all of the proceeds go to our local philanthropy, Wellspring Living, which gets victims out of sex trafficking and rehabilitating them back on their feet, just helping them out. So if you are interested, they are $5 and come see me after.
Thank you. Intern Cassidy.
Ignore the heels. I can't walk in these things. I am a part of our intern program, and I am essentially really just looking for more opportunity to get involved with activities of the Senate. I am familiar with the vast majority of you just because I spend a lot of time in our office. If anyone has anything that I can get involved with as far as shadowing on meetings with deans or meetings with any other representatives of the university, please let me know if I would be able to sit in on that with you. I'm just really looking for those opportunities for that experience myself. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Senator Jones.
This is just something I forgot to mention in my report, but I am working with Director Watkins on doing some diversity initiative training for the Senate specifically. We have discussed opening up for a public event but making it mandatory for the Senate. So let me know if that's something that you guys are interested in, or just give me feedback on whether or not you think it should be a mandatory event or something that we discussed during the general body meetings and etc. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Whitmire.
I'm speaking a lot. I'm so sorry. But in my officer report, I touched on the work that I've been doing with Owl Swap, and I just want to go into more detail about that as well. I met with their representative, Britt Pickering, and the faculty liaison as well in a meeting today, and we went over exactly steps going forward. I just want to put this on the record as well, as that I'll be drafting up a resolution to essentially be put forth to the body. And so if there's any questions with that, please let me know. I want to know if there's any issues that could potentially arise. And I'm also spearheading the effort to bring back the pre-law fraternity. It went out of existence in about 2017. And so now I'm just trying to get it re-registered as an RSO. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Director Watkins.
I forgot to mention this earlier, but we're bringing back the SGA newsletter. So if you're into writing or there's a certain direction you want to see that go, y'all can work with me on that. Basically, the whole idea of what we want to do is bring to the attention what's going on campus for students in a central place so that they can have it, and then on a medium, on a platform that is more accessible and more likely to get a lot of traffic. That also, y'all, Hoot Out Hunger is coming up. Well, Homelessness Awareness Week and the Hoot Out Hunger Game is coming up quickly. So we are all really fortunate to not be food insecure people. I know we joke about being like broke college students all the time, but there's some people out here that are really going through things. So donate. And lastly, as Vice President Bradford mentioned during his report, y'all come support athletics at the block party.
Thank you. Director Lopez.
Okay, so I know someone touched on it earlier about RA applications. They have been extended until next Monday, the 28th. So if you're interested in being a resident assistant, please apply. It's a very enriching experience as someone who has been an RA for a little bit now. It looks really good on a resume. You get free housing, which is always nice. But also you gain a lot of leadership skills. You learn how to program plan like nobody's business, all that good stuff. And then also, so I forgot to mention this in my report. I don't know how, but I want to do a focus group because I want to take academic affairs into like a new direction. Obviously not changing the bylaws with it, but I want to like open it up to something more. And I want to kind of get ideas from obviously people who are in SGA right now. About some of the things you guys want to see from academic affairs, because previously it hasn't been something that's, a big part on the e-board. And in SGA, it's very behind the scenes. You do a lot of not boring, but it can look boring things like work. but I want to like extend it and make it something way bigger and expand it. So if you're interested in being in my focus group, please come. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Senator Jones again.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say this, but also be on the lookout. Anybody who is interested in the Diversity Ambassador Program through the Office of Diversity Inclusion, because the application for that program will be opening in November and closing by February. So, like I said, be on the lookout for that. It's a $1,000 stipend, but don't do it just because of the money, like because Dr. Carrie Butler is not gonna play about that. So, if that is something that any of you guys are interested, please, like I said, be on the lookout for that application or go to the Diversity and Inclusion office to discuss it with anybody in that office. They're really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking.
Thank you. Senator Taylor.
How you guys doing? Hello. My fraternity is having an event tomorrow called Save Your Brother. It's in the Barris Building, 381, and it'll be breaking down the stigmas for African American men. It's an all-male event, so come out. It's at 7:06 and dress business professional.
Thank you. Senator Jackson.
Okay, so I just have two things. So number one, if you happen to be a psychology major or if you know anyone who is a psychology major, okay, yeah. So Psychi, which is the Honor Society in Psychology, we are going to have an event next month, November 7th, and our internship coordinator, Dr. Niederjohn, is going to be speaking. So it's going to be a lot of really good information about internships, which is super important. And secondly, I know that some people had expressed some concern about raising the $50 to donate to KSU Miracle, so I just sort of wanted to throw a suggestion out there. I've volunteered with the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for the past 4 years, and I know that obviously financial donations are very important, but donating your time can also be really important and appreciated by everyone there. So I just sort of wanted to, like I said, throw out a suggestion that I know the volunteer coordinator at Scottish Rite and could pretty easily get a day set up where a group from SGA could go and volunteer in whatever capacity the hospital needed for a couple of hours. So if that's anything that anyone would be interested in, maybe rather than the mandatory $50, donate your time, or in addition to would be great also. So just let me know if there's any interest in that.